Before you can truly shape the future, you must first possess the past. Assimilate our history, for it is your own. Kane wants you to view this.
Accessing Brotherhood archives.
Thousands of years ago, there were two brothers, Kane the farmer and Abel the shepherd. In a moment of jealousy, Kane slew his brother. As punishment, God cursed Kane that the earth he tilled would not provide him sustenance, and placed a mark upon him that prevented anyone from ending his life. And Kane went out from the presence of the Lord and took up residence in the land of Nod. Thus says the Bible. But Kane did not wither as the years passed. This mark, whether a part of his punishment or as an unintentional side effect, created a man undying. In the centuries that followed, Kane founded a secret organization, the Brotherhood of Nod. Its purpose, its beliefs at this point are unclear, but it's possible Kane already knew of Tiberium and its beneficiaries. At some point in history, Kane and the Skrin would cross paths.
This being already exists in the deep horror. Derivations unknown.
Whatever form this meeting took, it could have been the source of his prophecies on Tiberium. Whether he believed they would lead him to another planet, another world, or another state of being, we will never know. Perhaps he thought he could use Tiberium and the Skrin as a way to escape his immortality in one way or another. Then again, maybe it was all just for...
What does that look like to you? What does that icon look like? What icon do we all know of the bad guys, and they use that icon? What icon does that look like? Does that look like... What icon does that...
Maybe it was all just for power. He would one day come to call it ascension, and he started to play the long game. Living a life in the shadows, the Brotherhood of Nod attracted members into its fold. Using his longevity, otherworldly knowledge, or perhaps sheer charisma, Kane was heralded within this secret brotherhood as a prophet. At the very least, Kane had a taste for power, and the Brotherhood would allow him to achieve it. Throughout the years, agents of Nod would subtly shape the course of history to their benefit, with nationalistic political sock puppets and the craft of disinformation. The most audacious known example was the complete collapse of the Soviet Union following the Second World War. During the war, this man was seen playing personal advisor to Stalin. Stalin was known to be impulsive, driven by his emotions, and seemingly unstable, removing his underlings on a whim. And yet, when this advisor whispers in his ear, Stalin stops and listens to every word, never questioning, never debating. This is the earliest known footage of Kane. By the late 20th century, Nod was prepared for the prophesized arrival. It operated out of multiple command posts around the world.
I wonder what that means. I wonder what this represents.
Nod was prepared for the prophesized
what does that
arrival.
represent?
It operated out of multiple command posts around the world, with the Sarajevo Temple of Nod at its head. Since its entry onto the world stage in the 1990s, the Brotherhood has publicly aligned itself with anti-Western ideology, with designs to unify disenfranchised...
You want the map? Here's the map. You want the map? You want to know where? There you go. Let's keep going.
Third world nations under its banner. That's what they told the world. In 1995, a meteor carrying Tiberium crashed into Italy, and from there the crystal spread worldwide. As the growth of Tiberium is accelerated by a hotter climate, Nod's ties to equatorial nations gave them a monumental lead in supply of the resource, almost as if it had been planned.
They see a scientific anomaly, a curiosity. I see the future.
In their stubborn ignorance, they continue to work to forestall this future.
Despite their pretense, Nod was at this stage undoubtedly fighting for world domination, but not necessarily for domination's sake. Control of the planet would mean control of all Tiberium on Earth, and this is what Kane was after.
I'm Seth. Just Seth. From God to Kane to Seth. I am his right hand, and I have a task for you.
Kane was no fool, but his choice in friends was never his strong suit. Taking his name from the third son of Adam and Eve, Seth was his second in command during the First Tiberium War, overseeing Nod's lower-ranking commanders. Seth was an ambitious, jealous man, and saw the rise of a young commander whose successes had drawn Kane's eye as a personal threat.
I was starting to trust you, but now Kane has asked for your services specifically.
In order to secure his own position, Seth tried to have this upstart removed.
I've taken the liberty of dispatching your troops to the U.S. Kane has been loath to attack America, but I feel that it's time, and that you're the one to do it. This is the Pentagon. A full frontal attack with your strongest forces should render their military center of operation.
Oh, all right. That's his Pentagon.
Yes. Power shifts more quickly than some people think.
Uh-huh.
I'm Kane.
Just like that.
Despite their early advantage and lead in Tiberium research, Nod was unable to hold off the slow-to-rouse juggernaut that is the Global Defense Initiative.
Yeah.
The First Tiberium War came to a close when GDI fired the ion cannon upon the Temple of Nod.
What's that? What was that? What was that? What is that? I'm sorry. What? What are we talking about? What needed to be declassed? I don't know. Who knows what's going on? Okay.
The blast may not have killed Kane, but he didn't escape unscathed. Although GDI proclaimed him dead, they were never able to recover a body. Kane was sequestered away to recover, completely cut off from the fracturing Brotherhood.
That was in the 90s.
He spent much of the next 30 years in hiding, likely within the Nod Pyramid in Cairo, his new seat of power. By the late 2020s, the largest remaining Nod faction in the Eastern Hemisphere was under the control of General Hassan, a weak leader whose position was consolidated by GDI. He was allowed to maintain his tenuous leadership in return for covertly reporting activity directly
2030
to GDI's
Space
General
Force.
Solomon, and for silencing troublemakers.
This is 2030s.
Just tell me Slavik is dead.
Well, 2030.
Escaped.
Do you expect me to believe that?
Framing him as one of your spies was a big mistake. He has more support than we thought.
Then cover it up and kill him before the truth comes out.
Solomon.
And Hassan, if he gains more power, you will become useless to us. And useless things have a way of disappearing.
This arrangement kept the remnants of Nod firmly under GDI's heel. It was during this interim that the Forgotten, a faction of Tiberium mutants loyal neither to GDI or Nod, rose to global significance. Their leader, Tratos, is the earliest known keeper of the Tacitus, an alien archive on Tiberium. And, coerced by Kane, he was able to translate it. At long last, Kane had access to all the information on Tiberium he would need. Based on the Black Hand's earlier Project Regenesis, Kane's next move would be divination, the infusion of Tiberium direct to the bloodstream, which would cause a controlled mutation in order to force the next stage of human evolution.
What did that sound like to you? What plan does that sound like to you? What could that have been? I mean, you know, it's just a video game. Video games! I love video games. You like video games? I like video games. We all like video games. video games.